One thing I wanted to come here and talk about, though, as far as Leprechaun goes, is Part 4 is a Leprechaun film that is severely underrated. Now, it's almost my favorite. It's not my favorite. I suppose Part 2 or 3 would be my favorite. Those are really well done movies. But Part 4 is really cool. It has a lot of great stuff in it. By the way, a transvestite cyborg marine. Edward D. Wood Jr., who made Plan 9 from Outer Space, he was a transvestite marine, a heterosexual transvestite, by the way. He liked women, so he wasn't a fairy, but he was a tough guy who was a transvestite. He liked women's clothing, and he was a marine, so I think somewhere in this life, Eddie Wood is a very happy man. But anyway, the really cool thing about Leprechaun 4 is that most of the Marines and the people fighting the Leprechaun, none of them really know that he is a Leprechaun or acknowledge him as such. He is referred to as the alien. And in Leprechaun 4, he is basically invincible. No one knows how to kill him. You're in the future where I guess the records have been lost or science has been so accepted that no one talks about the mythological things anymore necessary to fight the Leprechaun. In Wishmaster, the film from 1997, the Wishmaster genie possesses this woman, and he gives a really neat speech through her where he talks about how powerful he is in the modern world now that centuries and centuries worth of wizards and magic and so forth are gone, and the only people who knew how to eliminate him are dead, and he's not going to tell you how to destroy himself. So that's the neat thing. And so in Leprechaun 4, that is what you get. No one knows he's a leprechaun, and no one knows how to destroy him. So they just keep blasting him apart throughout the film. And even at the end of Leprechaun 4, he's still not really dead. He's just blown apart, and he's floating away. And they hope that he doesn't reassemble himself and come back. And that's just a wild thing about Leprechaun 4. And it's just really cool watching him interact with things. And he's even trying to become like a world leader. He's trying to make a coup against the king and so forth, and marry the princess, or better, wetter, and deader, or not necessarily in that order. So that's just really cool about Leprechaun 4. His objectives, whole new objectives, and everything. Oh man, I'm doing ums. I guess I'm running out of steam here. I've been doing a few of these all night. What can I say about Leprechaun? There's so much more to him. I just want to. Okay, I wanted to get to how people figure out how to destroy him. Yeah, each film, someone has a secret on how to destroy him. In the first one, you have a native of Ireland, a man who's from Ireland who knows the folklore and stuff, and he lives just long enough to tell Aniston how to do it, and then the little kid fires the clover into his mouth and kills him, which is a great way to kill the leprechaun. The second one is it's these two grifters who run this Hollywood death tour, so to speak, and they're sort of con men, but they're semi-legit. I mean, they have to know just enough to make their scheme work, so they have all kinds of books on death and folklore and stuff, and they dig up leprechaun stuff through the book. They also dig up, the coin details, because since they're financially oriented, they want to look up the coin in coin books and know about the value of which, because they're financially oriented. Now then, and then in part 3, there's a CD-ROM of the Leprechaun that this Indian pawn shop owner studies to find out stuff about him. And that's a really cool guy in that, because he actually holds his own against the Leprechaun for a while. I mean, he loses himself piece by piece, but he almost goes the distance, and it's so cool to see people almost go the distance, because I love a lot of these characters. I'm not just one of these guys that says, okay, we gotta kill a whole bunch of people. I used to be that way. I go in and out of that way, but nowadays, I love seeing the characters do as best as they can, or I like them meeting a fate that in a unique way that is grounded to them. Anyway, that's about the best I can say of the Leprechaun, unless something else goes to mind. Yeah. The Leprechaun movies are pretty self-explanatory. Otherwise, for some reason, Leprechaun is getting a lot of flack lately. I don't know why. When I was a kid, he was highly popular, but now he's getting flack. So anyway, people should appreciate him. He's really damn cool.